So the other day, we did a couple things in terms of speed. Because we are, in fact, speed. Turns out that we can leverage this hilarity that is speed even better, with a couple of modifications to our setup. So yeah, Speedboiis ships. We got our Corvette. It's super standard at the moment. It's the Speedboiis setup. It's incredibly fast. It's got its jump drive. It's got its dark matter thrusters. It's got afterburners. It's precognitive interface, the Swarm edition, and of course a dark matter reactor, squeezing it over just 1518 fleet power in terms of speed, with all these traits stacked on top of it. In addition, we also have our normal Speedboiis at a speed of 889, and that is basically it. What we can also do is we can probably go to our shipyard and build a ship that is slightly more normal. 353. That's the fastest ship that we can build in the game without any bonuses attached to it. However, if we get all the events that we talked about, then we can squeeze that up to over 1,000. Now, getting only a couple of those events is totally doable, and it also breaks the game in the most hilarious way. Considering we have already established that ships are not where you think they are, as in their physical models are not in the position where you think they are actually somewhere else because the game does not render past a certain speed. The question is, can we use this particular setup? Introducing the Speedboiis battleship. It doesn't go that fast. It goes, well, only not even a 7% of our Speedboiis, but we're going to build one anyway. And let's just build ourselves a Speed class battleship. Now, the Speed class battleship is automatically added here to our to this particular ship in here. It doesn't have an admiral or anything. So let's quickly move him out of the way. And let's build another battleship, another Speed class, just to illustrate my point on the other one, and a third one. Let's find ourselves a destination to go to. We got 3 fleets. We got our completely ridiculous fleet with an admiral that has so many traits, it's not even normal. You would never get this in the game without horribly cheating. So what is the problem here? Well, that is a good question. Let's send a destination for our fleet. We are currently at normal speed. How long do you think it will take? So here is the problem. There is a massive discrepancy between how long fleets will take their path. The fastest possible is 48 days, 66 without the admiral. This is the most reasonable fast ship. And this is just the battleship on its own. All the other 2 fleets just have a Corvette on them. So let's just normally fly into a general direction and see how long this is going to take. Now, first of all, our first Speedboiis is already on his way. There he is, right there. He's got a Corvette and a battleship. And now the magic happens. Both ships have now jumped out at the same time. The battleship did not have to cross the entire system in order to get where it needed to go, which is the jump out point at the other side of the system. What does this mean? It means that any fleet that has a Corvette with a speed over 150 to about 500 will automatically negate any of the ship speed in the fleet, at least of any of the slowest ships that are in there. This means that speed for a fleet, when it comes to jumping out, is calculated based not on the slowest ship, but on the fastest ship. And that right there breaks so much balance. Oh boy, does it break so much balance. There it goes. Oh Jesus, this is genuinely hilarious. Because the battleship should not be allowed to move this fast. It is completely and totally insane how fast this battleship is moving. Sure, in system, it is relatively slow. But when it comes to jumping from system to system, it calculates the jump time based on the fastest ship in the fleet. Which in this case is the Speedboiis Corvette with all the leaders on it. We can make this stuff go even crazier. Let's send our fleet back home. So, we got a huge-ass battleship fleet with 90,000 fleet power. It's got an insane leader on it. It's got 22 battleships on it. A standard fleet with just 22 battleships and just one corvette without a leader. And just a fleet of battleships. I think you can see where this is going. Normally in the game, it would take forever for a battleship fleet to move where it needs to go. Let's take a look. Oh my lord. The battleship fleet is going to get outrun every single time. Because this armada over here, the most realistic one in the, that we have in the bunch, is so much faster than just the battleship. It means that we can artificially inflate the move capability of a battleship fleet without any problems whatsoever. It basically means that any battleship fleet that needs to be deployed to the front line extremely quickly can move there extremely quickly. All you gotta do is add a corvette that breaks the barrier of around 450 to 500 speed, which I feel is totally doable, and then take it from there. Let's take a look at whether or not we can actually build a corvette in the game in vanilla that can break the speed barrier without going through exploits and cheats. So here's our completely legitimate Speedboiis. It is incredibly fast. It has a speed of 433 just by having some of the mechanics in the late game, which is, I feel, totally possible, but it still breaks things quite horribly. So, what can we do with this in order to crank up speed a little bit more? Well, we've talked about this before. We can add the exotic gases for fuel to it. There you go. And let's take a look. There it is, 489. And we add a policy setup here for our war doctrine, which is the rapid deployment, which is a bonus of 25. That right there already boosts our ship over the 607 modifier. So let's take a look here. Can we jump this ship extremely quickly out of things here? There he goes. He's on his way. So far, so good. It looks like that 600 is still within a reasonable range when it comes to calculating the location of the ship. So we've established now that 600 is not enough to break the barrier in order to exploit the game to hilarity. Now we could add a admiral to the fleet, and that would probably be the best way of doing things. So let's see if we can find ourselves a leader that we can get the right trade on. We just grab a random leader. So let's just add a trait to it that you would normally be able to get. So we've added gale speed to our leader, which gives us uplight speed of plus 20, and the ship will now go 694. Does this break the barrier? Well, there we go. Actually, we should probably move it to the other side of the system first, just to see if it is going to break the barrier or not. I hope it does, because we are kind of running out of avenues to do things here. Sure, we can add aggressive to our fleet as well. Let's see whether or not he's going to jump about halfway through the system. That is our goal. Looks like 700 is not enough. That means we need to add more legitimate stuff. Okay, so we added the Strategic Coordination Center to the mix-up at 15% sublight speed. Let's see whether or not we can break the game hilariously this way. Right now we got a speed of 759. Is this going to be enough to break the barrier and make our fleets hilariously OP? I would hope so. We're almost there. Is it gonna make it? Is it going to make it? It does not look like it's going to make it. So as we've done before, we're going to add a drift to our fleet. It's relatively common to see it, and you should always tear it down to study the engines. Gives us a sublight speed of 10%. I hope this is going to be enough. 802, that is probably the fastest we can make a ship legally within the game. So let's jump it out and see if we can get where we want to go. Normal speed, drum roll please. Are we gonna make it? Oh, this is exciting stuff. I am starting to think that we may need to go over the 1000 barrier in order to get it done. What's gonna happen? Is it gonna jump? No, it is not. So it looks like we are getting into the territory of needing to do some really weird stuff in order to get our ships to jump a lot earlier than, well, expected. So we've dipped into the Shroud for this one. This obviously only works if you're going for the Ascension for Psionics. And we'll add 40% speed to our fleet. We are now 975 on our ship. Let's see whether or not we can actually break the barrier this time around. This is an incredibly rare setup. Highly unlikely that it would happen. And we're still, we're still trying to break the speed barrier that's in the game. Let's see if we can try and do it, and let's hope that we can. I still think around 1,000 is what's going to break the barrier here. If the ship jumps on time...
This is not okay. This needs to stop now.
It did it. Psionic species can, in fact, break the game in interesting ways. So let's have these two battleships meet up with our speediest of boys. There we go. And let's see whether or not we can make them break the game barrier. We're also going to add another separate battleship here, and it's going to go into the same direction. We're actually going to move one system further. So this one is 49, this is 84. In this very extremely rare scenario, we can have a battleship fleet that moves twice as... Oh my god, it just did it right there. Right off the get-go, when it was halfway across the system. In this rare scenario, we can build a fleet that can move to its destination not once, but twice as fast than we should be able to. What have we learned? It is totally doable to break the game hilariously by merging corvettes that are technically not really supposed to be going as fast as they are to battleship fleets to make them move so much faster than they should. This right here is so broken, it is not even funny, because it means that a ship can basically get wherever you need it to go incredibly quickly. There's our Corvette fleet. Is it going to jump before it hits halfway across the system? I think it will. There it is. Battleships are not even a third across the system and they jump, because the Corvette is doing all the work. We're using the Corvette as a battleship tugboat across the stars. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, take good care of yourselves. And let's break the game a little bit more.